welcome to our first episode of ReaL. We're joined today by Lois Forsell, our head coach. Okay, so Lois, I've Googled you.
Oh wow. That's a Google my career.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I just thought I'd get the facts right.
Okay.
It's always about the facts, isn't it? So, Hunslet Hawks, is that your first girls team you joined?
First girls team, yeah.
Yep. And then followed by Bradford Bulls.
Yep.
18 caps for England, debuting at 2009.
Yep.
Wow, I was young then.
Go on, how old were you?
I don't know, 7.
I was 7, 8.
Oh, 17.
Oh, 6 then. And then Leeds Rhinos' first ever captain.
Yeah.
How good is that?
It's not bad.
Nominated for Women of Steel.
Yeah, lost it though.
That's
It's alright.
Development officer at Leeds Rhinos.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing that?
2 minutes, no, I'm joking. Maybe 10.
Okay. First RFL Women's Ambassador. 2020 appointed Leeds Rhinos Women head coach. So transitioning from player to coach, yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2022 Coach of the Year.
Yep. I like that.
Assistant coach now of the EPU.
Yep.
Mum to Ollie.
Yep.
And overall alright lass.
Overall, alright, lads. I love that, Keara. You've missed a few, but I'll let you off.
Alright.
Oh, go on. What were we missing?
No, I'm
To
joking.
be fair, looking at that, you've got a good record for a CV there. Like, some good accomplishments.
It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, that is my CV. You've probably done it better than what I could have done. Yeah, I've got a lot to thank for rugby and enjoyed every step of the journey, and I still think I've got a lot to achieve. Good times playing at Bradford, Leeds, England. And, could have been more proud being the first captain of the club and the first player that I signed, and been part of forming the Rhinos and been on that journey ever since. It was and still is class.
Yeah, 100%.
So, amongst being a world-class player,
Thanks,
you're now a mum.
I am a mum. I am a mum.
Beautiful Ollie.
He is beautiful.
How old is he?
He'll be 2 in April.
2 in April.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us a bit more about motherhood?
Motherhood. I said to someone on the phone this morning, it's getting out of the house and getting to childminders is like an Olympic sport for the morning. You know, you've done a few school runs. She's not got a baby, but she's top auntie. Always knew I wanted kids, and obviously with what happened in my career in injury-wise and stuff like that, and COVID sped that process up a little bit. I thought about what I wanted out of life, and it seemed like a good time to have a child. I think I realised there's never a perfect time, because I think as a woman, I'm quite career focused and things like that. There's never going to be a time where you go, right, that's perfect. I think you always know it's going to be chaos, and so Mark on board, and just we decided to start a family, and it's the best thing I've done. It's brilliant, but it's challenging, and it's just the best thing you'll do. That's all I'd say. He's good, and I like the fact that he arrived on the weekend of Super League 2021. We all knew that were going to happen, so it was team run Thursday, and everyone were like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Because playing Featherstone on Sunday," and then he arrived on Friday. That's the reason he came. Just a bit of training, got us moving. Yeah, no one let me drive to training. My mum made me get a lift, and then Mark had to pick me up because everyone was like, "You shouldn't be driving." Why?
What was labour like? Was it like the worst pain ever?
It was horrendous, but people know I'm a bit weird. I actually quite like the fact that it was like a challenge.
Oh my gosh, shocker competition.
Yeah.
I'm the most strong person ever, so.
Thanks. But no, it was hard. It was back to back, and it was horrendous. And yeah, it was funny. It was very funny.
Keira's asking this because she's getting broody.
Yeah, you do it tomorrow. This is the thing. When my mum, I actually remember saying to the midwife, "You were all lying. You would not do this again tomorrow." Because I was thinking, this hurts. But then when the baby's here, you're just like, do it again tomorrow. But yeah, it was funny. I remember my first couple of sessions coming back, because I came back quite early to see you lot. Obviously don't like to miss out on training. And I remember thinking like, I was really walking up and down the pitch and thinking, I'm not quite ready to be fully back yet. And obviously came back, first game, got COVID, and we lost in the semi-final. So it was all fun and games, wasn't it?
Don't talk about that. No, but especially now, me and Keara were at an England session not long ago, and they were talking about the help that you get from the England programme now, in terms of after the World Cup, they heard a few people were interested in having kids, and that they'll give the support to them whilst they're recovering and whilst they're wanting to get back to playing rugby. So I think that's the best thing that the sport can do at the moment with women, especially at the highest level. Yeah, massively. I think it shouldn't be a choice, and that's what we're pushing with the EPU and at Leeds. Is it's not a choice to
have kids or be a sportswoman. I'll have kids and still be a sportswoman. You know, it's hard. It's tough to get back to what you were doing before, but I reckon if I weren't injured, I still definitely could. And we've seen people like in the World Cup, like Sammy Bremner. We've got people in the Women's Super League who have done it as well over here. So it shouldn't be a choice. You should feel supported. You should feel empowered. And actually, I think that being around you lot, as in Leeds Rhinos women, makes me a better person. It makes me a better mum. Having a drive and a goal away from being a mum to Ollie is good for him, good for me. And I hope one day I'll look back and be proud.
What's like your support network at home, like with Ollie and then balancing everything else?
It takes a team, doesn't it? So obviously I work full time as well. So there's Mark, who's brilliant. He obviously does training nights while I'm here and everywhere, and then he plays football Saturday. I do rugby Sunday, so it's a nice balance. I'd probably say that's why we're still together, because you don't see that much of each other. And then obviously grandparents, so on his side and my side, it's just everyone mucks in, and my brother. If my brother don't get a shout out now, I'll be absolutely fuming. Brother and Katrina. So yeah, I know I've got a lot of people who are really supportive, and it does, you know, it can't just be all on you, because I can't be everywhere at once. And yeah, it's good. Everyone's really supportive, and you need that.
As you mentioned there about previously having Ollie because of the stint with your injury.
Yeah.
Do you mind talking about what happened?
No, I don't tend to talk about it much, because I don't ever want to reflect on it, and people like be on and down about it. It's a tough one. So obviously I signed for Leeds in 2017 after the World Cup. So it was 2018. So I finished the World Cup in 2017, went to Australia, played for England, came back from the World Cup, would sign for Leeds. Everyone knew that was happening, and it was quite an interesting time, because people were always saying, "Oh, Leeds shouldn't launch yet. They're not going to be able to." It was quite a taboo subject, I guess. And obviously our first signing. And I remember the first game I watched a bit back the other day, actually, when we played Bradford at Odsall. Class, the young Beevers coming off at bench, right? Yeah.
Well, Shabu's got injured in the first 5 minutes when you're going full back. I went, what?
Yeah. So it was class. We obviously signed, played in 2018, and then we won that opening game against Bradford, one of the best games I've played in. Just Judas. Yeah. I took Amy Hardcastle's head off, I think, and I got absolutely. I didn't mean to, by the way. It was make or break, and I did it, and that's what you got to do. And she's fine, I'm fine. No love lost. But the fans were not fine. They were chanting Judas at me. And then I think Shona and Amy the week after, what does Judas mean at England training? I was like, really? Yeah, that's the first time we knew that we'd made it, Leanne, because I got a death threat after that game or something daft on social media. I have to report it to Leanne. Played in 2018, then we won the Challenge Cup over in Warrington against Cass. We won the league leaders, and then we were playing against St Helens on the 9th of September 2018, because it's day before my dad's birthday. That's the only reason I remember it. I'm not good with dates. And yeah, I just jumped out of dummy half in like the 85th minute, and I think people thought I'd been hit because it was a high shot, but it was as I fell down and just ACL went. Like anyone else, it's fine, is what it is. We'll get back to it. We've seen a load of players who've done it. But then I went for my surgery late that year, and 3 months after things weren't going right, it were January 30th or 31st January, I don't know when, going and getting an MRI done because things weren't getting back to normal. And then I remember getting a phone call that night from the club doctor saying, "Oh, the surgeon wants to see you." And I thought, this is weird, that's a bit quick. So I had the MRI done like Wednesday, say, and then I got a phone call the Wednesday night saying he wants to see you tomorrow, and then text me as well. So I'm like, yeah, fine. Then text me saying, and also, can you make sure you don't have out to eat tonight? And I'm like, what? So now we're Googling and eating cereal, because I'd just bought a nice bag of cereal that I really wanted. So it were Special K, like crunchy granola, like it was like in a bag. It's usually like £3-4, £1.50. So like, I'm buying you exactly, you know. And so I wanted it. So I had that at about 12 o'clock Googling, why does my surgeon want to see me and not eat? And I knew that they'd probably. Well, I didn't actually think. I think I'm very one of them. Like until something bad happens, I don't believe it. So I just thought, if the worst comes to worst, he's going to take my graft out, but that's not going to happen. That's a bit like surreal. That's just not going to happen. Then I went in expecting to go for a blood test, and then he looked at me like the Grim Reaper, and he went, "Do you want the bad news or the bad news?" I was like, right, okay. And he was like, "We'll have to take your graft out. You've got an infection in your femur called osteomyelitis. We'll have to take your graft out, and the bad news is we're doing it now." And I'm like, what? I'm parked over there. So I got a parking ticket. surgery and stayed in, so mum had to come back and get my card. But so I got osteomyelitis in my femur, which is a bone infection. It was quite big, so I had to think 3 operations, stayed in for 8 days the first time, I had 3 operations, had a PICC line in my arm for antibiotics to go in via my bloodstream because it would get to my leg quicker. Went home and the infection wasn't going, so I ended up in again. I had another 2 operations. Came home again, had the PICC line with the antibiotic, and started to get back to looking at getting back playing. But then from the extent of the damage, they went back in I think July 2019, they went back in just to make sure everything had cleared up, and it had. And then that were when the decisions on the back of that, so that were probably a good year of that happening. And then on the back of that, it was conversations about what getting back to rugby looked like. And it wouldn't have been straightforward because I'd taken so much of my bone away. I'd have had to have a bone graft, but I wouldn't have had enough bone from my hip to put in there. So I'd have had a bone donor, and that increases the risk of reinfection. And then having another infection means that if you had to scrape my thigh anymore, I'd break my femur. And it'd be, the surgeon's words, it'd be quite catastrophic, and it's not guaranteed to work. And all that they'd have done would have taken between 18 months and 2 years. And at that point, that had been past the World Cup. Mm. So he didn't really want to operate on me. I had decisions to make. My knees are already pretty, I don't know a better word than saying knackered, in terms of having osteoarthritis and stuff like that from the operations I've had. So I made the decision that I wouldn't get back in the timeline that I wanted to. It wasn't guaranteed to work. My health had already taken quite a battering. If it went wrong, it would go really wrong, and I don't know what that'd end up looking like. So I ended up deciding that the best thing probably to hang up my boots. Didn't really feel like I had a choice, which made it a little bit easier. But so I hung my boots up in 2019, and that's always why that's my favourite photo of. There's one of me hugging Courtney and one of me with Shabu walking off on 2019, because I was so proud of us and what we'd achieved in that grand final. But I knew that I were retiring, and I knew that week, but I'd not told anyone, obviously, because I didn't want to be a downer on the party. But I knew, and it was just weird that I knew, no one else knew, and on this pitch, and I felt so alone yet so looked after. Yeah. And that's where I think for me shines through in team sport, that even though it was really tough, everything that happened, I wouldn't have done it any other way, and I wouldn't have done it with any other people, because I think that, look back on different times, like Courtney bringing in the bloody captain's hat in box. Still got a photo of it. Yeah, you well done. And going through it with Madison in rehab club and didn't get selected for the final. And just, I think actually I'm really fortunate in a way now as a coach. Obviously I wouldn't have been a coach just yet, but as a coach now, I think that it's actually shaped and will hopefully make me a better coach from everything that I experienced as a player, I think, and hope.
So moving on, in terms of transitioning from a player to a coach, how did you find that? Who was your mentor?
It was really hard. I think the early conversations I had were with Cuthbo, Kevin Sinfield and Ben Jones in terms of what their vision was for them in terms of me taking over, and I felt really supported by those conversations. And then coming into the role, Ant and Dave Gibbons, it's the best, aren't they? Couldn't have done it with 2 better blokes by my side, and wouldn't choose to. And I don't actually think we would have been as successful as we have been without them. They're absolutely class. So they were amazing mentors. And then Leon, obviously, he's been classy. Obviously, we started the women's team together in terms of the strategy behind it and the groundwork. He coached before I coached, and he always said that if I ever needed it, he'd drop back in. And I don't think he realised he'd come back in as an assistant coach, but I can be persuasive, it seems. And then Stu Barrow as well, checking in with him regularly and doing my level 3, Rich Tunninley, he were brilliant. Chev, Rowan, Barry Eaton, so many. There's so many, and it's not just one person. I think that for me as a coach, I don't always have to know all the answers, but I need to be willing to look for them and to put a lot of time into making sure I get the right answers for us as a group. And I don't always have to have the answer, but I will find it and then share it with us all and get there. And I think that I'm really lucky that there's so many people around me who can help with that.
It's a unique situation in terms of the players who you played with, you're now coaching, so how did you find dealing with that?
Yeah, and I think when we did our Y-Box at Spirit of the Rhino, I thought about what to say. And I spoke a little bit around my injury, and not a lot, because I just don't like speaking about me and that, because I don't want it to be, I don't like it. One, I wanted the girls to know that obviously I had played with a lot of you, and that's why I don't play with you now, is because of that injury. But also know that I did play with you, because we have got a unique situation. Like, I have played with both of you. I have, taught you, coached you at Brov, seen you on development days. Like, I can't change the pathway that we've all been on, and like I wouldn't be like, all right, I'm head coach now, can't talk to you. Don't have any banter with me. Like, it doesn't work like that. So it's important that everyone knows that it is a unique situation of different relationships, different personalities. And when I thought about taking over from Cuthbert, when he offered me that opportunity, and the club offered me that opportunity, I just figured that the only thing I can be is honest, because can't change all the different scenarios that there are, and how we all know each other, different relationships you have. But if I'm honest with everyone and stick to that, then we should be all right. So open and honest is the only way, and I'll always do the right thing for the team. And at times it's been difficult. I'm sure you've seen some tough conversations that I've had to have, and yeah, they're hard at the time. But I think that all the girls know that I'll do what is right for them, the team, and the collective. So it's tough at times, but I think it's actually it's the best thing. I don't think we'll ever get something like this again, because it's pretty special, and like you say, it is unique, and I like it, and I think it must be working all right for us all so far. So yeah, long may it continue.
Is it something you're still getting used to then, in terms of telling people that you played alongside or played against, what you want out of them and the things that they need to improve on?
I think I'd always ask. I don't think I'd try to tell you as much. It's always a two-way street, and I'll be asking you, and you could equally tell me if I'm not helping you get there.
Yeah.
Like, what more you need. We're going to get there together. I think we need to do this. What do you think? And I think that hopefully you all get that as players. But I wouldn't say it's tough, because I think we've got a really, really good group. I don't think I think I'm incredibly lucky of the group of girls that we've got, and as a coaching group we are, because I think that you are pretty chill, grounded, humble, and committed, and want to work hard, and that's the foundations. And I think that we'll always have a chat, and if I said to you, I'd love to see more of this from you, and I think this is how we do it, and you go, but I think that we don't do enough of this and I need more of that, then we'd go, right, okay,
yeah,
and we'd take it on board, and that's what we'd look at together. But yeah, I think I hope you all think that I'm not a teller and I'm not a dictator, but kind of give you a freedom and a chance to express yourself and be creative, but be quite clear on what we're looking for and what's going to make you better and what's going to make us better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
100%. Yeah. And like, in terms of pressure and stuff, obviously you're not in control on like game days.
You think I like being in control, Keara?
Yeah. No, but when you put a 13 out, and when you're a player, like, you are the ones who get the outcome. So how do you find being like on the sideline making the decision but not actually controlling the outcome?
It's definitely a learning curve, and I'm getting more comfortable with it. Comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. It's obviously hard. And I think actually pregnancy is a good thing. I remember Stu Barrow and Rich Nunnally saying to me, it's probably a good thing that you're pregnant, because there was a time where I couldn't demo stuff, and actually demoing stuff doesn't always make you a good coach. So like, thinking about different ways of getting my message across, and what's the best way for you to learn something. Is it for you seeing it visually from a coach demoing, a different player demoing, from video of you doing it, and things like that. So it's hard not being a player, because as a player I just knew what I was doing and I could do it. Like, I think I got my role pretty well, and I just knew what I was doing, and I got to a point in my career where I was established and it was like my bread and butter. And then coming as a coach, I've got to then look at all different positions, think about all different things. And yeah, it's tough, and it's definitely a learning curve, and it's a learning curve for all of us, and that's probably the message that we had last year. Obviously, I think where we struggled in the Challenge Cup final, I think we could have won that game if we were fitter and not used our interchanges better, but obviously went down from 10 to 8 interchanges, and I just don't think we'd got the rotations right. But I don't think it was necessarily just a coaching thing that we didn't get right. It were the girls recognising that we need them to play for longer at higher intensity to be able to get the rotations right. So I think that fitness and getting our rotations of our pack right is where we came short a little bit, and just missed a few chances. Don't get me wrong, we missed a few chances, but that was a big learning curve. But yeah, I've become more comfortable with being not in control. And a big thing that I recognise is there's no, I'm very black or white. I'm like, it's that or that. And as a coach, I've been like, yeah, it's always there. There's no like one hat fits all.
Yeah.
It's be comfortable being in the grey area.
What are the feelings like on a game day then? Because obviously, no matter who I'm playing, I'll be absolutely babbing myself.
Yeah.
How do you go from the transition to playing nerves to coaching nerves? Is there much of a difference?
Yeah, it's massive a difference because, when you're a player, you're always like pumped, full of adrenaline, like just ready to carry, ready to tackle, and you're there and you know there's something you can do early doors. For me, as a person and as a coach, I'm just stay chill all the time and hopefully come across as that to you a lot. Just try to be relaxed and recognise that you feed off every emotion that I give you. So it'll never be chill to the point of being like monotone, because I think I'm quite a bubbly, upbeat person, but it's me making sure that I don't get you too up or too down or too chill. It's how my personality comes across on you guys. So I think I actually feel relaxed. Because I back you girls to go out there and do a good job. And it's like, even at half times, I don't ever really feel like panicked or anything. I think it's let's just get some key things across to get us there. But I get excited, I get animated, you've seen the footage back, girls.
When we score and she's screaming and hugging, it's brilliant. Yeah.
What when Sophie Ramos, I just a bit when Sophie Ramos scored and I'm like, with the bloody microphone in my hand, and then they try talking to me and I'm giving Gibbo my bloody notepad and then try to do interchanges and try to talk to them. But I'm excited, I'm animated, but I think I'm just me. I am quite competitive, and
I'd never know.
I like to win, and if we're not, we'll find a way out. But I'm animated. But I think that when I come down from the stand and in the changing rooms, hopefully it's more relaxed, and I recognise that you guys feed off of what I present, so it's important. Yeah.
So finally, like the development of the game, you've been around for a bit now.
What do you mean, Keara?
So it has come a long way.
In olden times.
So what do you think's next?
It has come a long way, and how good has the growth been? From where you two have come, I think you guys are the first benefactors of it. And we spoke about when we had Lisa McIntosh in to present our jerseys. You've got to stand on the shoulders of the others before us. And when you look at what they did, and then I thought I were lucky that I went and played in New Zealand and I played in Australia and stuff like that. And then you guys have gone to Papua New Guinea, and then you've gone to World Nines, and you've gone to a World Cup on home soil. Just like... And then playing in Women's Super League, you're playing at Headingley. I only ever got to play when the South Stand were getting knocked down, and you walk out in front of the stand, in front of the crowd in the South Stand, and it's massive, and that's been important for the game, because if you can see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
And the young girls who are inspired by all of our players, all the players in the Women's Super League, and they'll still take some inspiration from the players who've been before, whether that's in a coaching role or a media role, or hearing stories about the likes of Lisa McIntosh and Brenda Dobek. It's massive, and we've just got to keep doing that, because ultimately the end goal is for us to have a big player pool, to have an elite top level, which we're getting there with, and for the game to be broadcastable full time. It can be on every week, not 3 times a year, and then that brings in revenue, and then from the revenue becomes full-time contracts and things like that. But we've just got to recognise that that's a slow burner, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and actually just enjoy the journey we're on and enjoy where we are at now. I think the more you get, the more you want. That's human nature. And I remember I read something at one of the South Sydney players put out, or Sydney Youth, I can't remember. But just focus on being a winner, focus on being competitive. And when you think about being a winner, the other stuff becomes less important. And I think just make the game the best it can be at this top level. If you're in development, get as many little wins as you can. More girls playing, more girls enjoying. If they're not playing, are they officiating? Are they watching you lot? What are they doing? Are they coaching? And the more people get involved in the game, the more it'll grow, and the more it grows. The bigger it comes at the top, and then the bigger it is at the top, the more we can get money in and then look after the players that are involved. But I think that you just got to enjoy where we're at now and recognise it's going to take some time, but we'll get there. And it's good. Who'd have thought that a kid from Brov and a kid from Burstall would be sat here on their own podcast? ReaL, baby!
I think, especially from the three of us, as you mentioned there, we've come through our hometown clubs playing for the lads teams, and now I went to the tournament not so long ago and they had like an under-8 girls team.
Yeah.
The fact that they're starting at such a young age now, I think, is a massive step for the Women's Super League to just get bigger and bigger, so the numbers of participation rates are just going through the roof. I'm sure you're seeing that at a work point of view.
Yeah, massively. And I think even just get him involved at that level, because when you get involved at that level, you don't know where it's going to take you. Like, I was just a kid who a coach said to me, "Do you want to join in at East Leeds?" because my brother were there. And I've joined in, and from picking up that ball, I'm sat here on a prime time podcast. I'm head coach Leeds Rhino. I was like, what? That's my part of my job. Do you know what I mean? Like, pinch yourself. I don't know. Coaching with England, development officer for Leeds Rhinos Foundation. I've travelled like you two have with the game. I've been to countries I've never been to. I wouldn't go to Brazil or New Zealand or Australia. I've been to university. Like no one in my family have been to university, but sport gave me the confidence to feel like I know who I am. I know what I can achieve. I'm confident in me. I'm going to go to uni. Those girls just need to pick up the ball because you don't know where it takes you. Look at other players we've got in our team, like Shannon Lacey, would quite openly probably say she wouldn't have gone to Papua New Guinea. She wouldn't, she'd been playing for Leeds Rhinos if rugby hadn't given her the confidence. Would she be a teacher? It gives people much more than just what you probably see. And I think that's the biggest thing, that when you pick up the ball, it's about much more than that, and girls should be empowered by sport. So yeah, there's so many more girls playing. I think what you're saying about the under-8 stuff is what we want to tap into at the foundation. We want to give girls who are 7 to 10 more opportunity to play and play for a girls-only team, because some girls, like yourselves, will go and mix it up with boys and be better and give them it. And ultimately, some girls will be less confident, and we don't want to lose them to the game. We want to give them time to mature and flourish in that environment and stay in the game and push on. But yeah, it's certainly exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that is a wrap. So thank you very much for being part of the first.
Thanks for having me. I loved it, thanks.
It's all right.
Well done, you two.
Thank you very much.
Smashed it.